Somewhere in the background there you might just see the masts from Alexandra Palace. The Saints have started their pre-season campaign, not quite in the shadow of that building, but at White Hart Lane, home of Haringey Borough. We're talking to Ian Allinson after the Saints have won 2-1. You put two teams out, Ian, one in each half. Is that going to be a regular feature during the friendlies?
I think it'll be for the first couple of games, David. I think then we get into the last 3 or 4, then we'll just get the squad down to sort of 16, 17, and then look to get more 90 minutes into players. It was, we've had 3 hard sessions last Saturday, Tuesday, and Thursday was probably an exceptionally hard session for the players. So I was very careful that we didn't overplay them, especially on AstroTurf as well. And as I say, the season starts in 4 weeks' time. It's not about being fit today; it's about being fit in 4 weeks' time.
A few trialists out there today. Made up any decisions on them, or was it too soon?
I think it's too soon, but I think we've seen some players there who've done well in training. It's only right that when we look at these players, we give them an opportunity to show what they can do, and it's probably not over one game. We need to look over 3 or 4 games before we make a decision on them. But again, it was a great exercise. I'd like to thank Haringey for hosting us today. I think the game was played in a good spirit, and it was a great workout for us.
Of course, unusual, isn't it? Because we've started our pre-season campaign on a 4G pitch. Not something we'll be playing on too often during the season.
No, it's not. But again, it's quite nice because, as I say, at this stage of the season, you should be getting good pitches, but this helps the quality of the football, and it certainly helped us mainly in the second half. We moved the ball a lot quicker than we did in the first half. So again, we've got Ware on Tuesday, which will be on AstroTurf, and then we've got on the 20th we've got Hendon. So we are going to use it 3 times this year. So not ideal in terms of where the players are with their calves and hamstrings and things like that. So we've got to be careful we don't overplay players on the AstroTurf at this stage of the season. But certainly going into the last pre-season games, we've got some good games. 2 of them, I think 3 of them at home, and the pitch, I was at the ground yesterday. The pitch is looking amazing at Clarence Park, and it's probably the best it's probably looked in the last 5 years.
Was everybody here who you expected today, and have we still got some others to come back?
No, the only one, as I say, probably is David Noble. David's obviously trained on Thursday, trained really well. He's trained again today, and hopefully he'll have 45 minutes on Tuesday. We've got Sam Corcoran to come back in. He was at a wedding today, and he's at a wedding next Saturday. But as I've said before with Sam, it's something that we're looking at. It's something that we can explore at this stage of the season. But I'm not making any promises to Sam at this stage of the season. But again, I like Sam as a player. I think he's a good footballer. But we'll see where we are once we come into the last couple of weeks of the season.
No David Moyo. I don't think that's any great surprise. Solomon Sambu and Ben Wyatt.
Well, Ben and Solomon were both offered re-engagement terms, and unfortunately they didn't take us up on the re-engagement terms. So I've spoke to Ben this week. Ben's been training with us, but it's something that we've got to probably sit and discuss further, because when players don't offer or sign their re-engagement terms, I was conscious that he might come back from his holiday in Cambodia and not sign for us. So I've signed Ollie Sprague. Ollie's come in and done great for us today. So that his position at the moment has been taken, but as I said there, I've got to sit and talk to the boy, see what he wants in terms of going forward. Solomon, I spoke to Solomon, wants to try and play at the next level, which I appreciate and I understand. I'm not sure where he's going to end up, but again, both of those players have been offered re-engagement terms. And David Moyo, again, we spoke at length. We offered him a new deal. He wants to try and be full-time. He's at that age now where he'll feel this is probably the last opportunity for him. And I think this weekend, or for this week, he's having a spell at Yeovil. I spoke to Darren Soul last week about the boy, and I think he was going to invite him in this week. So good luck to these players. I say at the end of the day, sometimes you have to move on and you have to rebuild your side. And I'm very happy and confident this side that some of the players we brought in are a really good age for where we are, and hopefully they can replace the players if they don't sign.
A couple of the trialists there look quite impressive. How do you, as a manager, actually go out there to scout them though? Because obviously you have managing Saturdays, Tuesdays.
Well, I think we found with Bobson Bowling and with Darren Foxley, there were 2 players that really impressed us when they played against us last year. After each game, Glenn will write the opposition team down, and he'll put a mark against what the opposition and who's threatened us and who hasn't. And when we found the players become available, I spoke at length with Glenn, and he went into his book, and we went back to, I think, 6th of January was the Oxford game, and I certainly know what Darren Foxley did against us at Hungerford last year, because that was the heaviest defeat for a long, long time, and Darren was he was instrumental in what he did against us that year, and I think you've seen today there's a good little aggression about the lad. Good age for us, 21 years of age, and Bobson's only 23, so two good signings from that side of it. And as I say, Joe Lacifiano, we've been chasing him for probably 6-8 weeks now, and we managed to get that over the line just before the game today. So both of them players, all three of them have signed, so really pleased with that. And obviously we've just got to mingle that in with Rhys Williams coming back, and for me, as I said before, you know, Rhys scored 15 goals for us 2 years ago, and again, he's the player that felt he wanted to go on to the next level. Didn't quite happen for him. There was a lot of clubs, and I know that for a fact, that some of the football league clubs were talking to him, invited him in, but he didn't quite get over the line on that side of it. So it's a good signing for us again. It was up with Zane Banton to come back, who's working extremely hard on his broken leg. He's going up to St George's Park, I think, in 2 weeks' time for a week. So it looks good. Sam Merson's now, you know, he's got to become a pivot in terms of where we are, because he's got to now take that centre forward role and come to the table in terms of games on a regular basis and scoring goals. So going forward, I'm really pleased. The midfield areas, Taylor Miles, you see again today, Taylor's coming and give us a real energy in there. Excuse me, and defensively, you know, David Long-King, Solomon have come in from Biggleswade, who I watched a number of games last year, and they're two good players that we can work extremely well with, who are going to make us a better side. I said in Joe Howe, you know, you don't play 6 years at Ebbsfleet if you're a poor player, and he's coming again today. And Devontae Stanley, I quite like the right back who played first half. You know, he's bright, he's sharp, he's neat and tidy, and he's impressed me in training. So really good options. As I say, it's going to be difficult, but I like them difficult ones. I'd rather be in a situation where I am now, and I've got to cut the squad rather than looking to bring players in as we go into the last couple of weeks of the season.
It seems to be that the squad's got a nice balance, a nice feel to it. It seems like there's a lot of players who are hard working.
Yeah, I think they're all comfortable with each other. I mean, that's only the 4th time we've been together, but you know, already they've mingled really well as a group. And that'll get better as we get into the start of the season. And playing football and winning games, you know, breeds, might only be pre-season, but it breeds that little bit of confidence. And I think you see in the second half we created some really good chances. And we just got to learn when to shoot, when to share, and that's what's going to come through training. And some of the players were a little bit tired today. Their legs were getting a little bit tired as they went to the last 10-15 minutes of each half. But again, I was impressed in the way that we went and pressed second half. I felt we did that really well. But also we've got to make sure that we don't concede goals in certain areas, because you know, from where we dominated for long periods in the second half, we could have quite easily come away by conceding the goal when we've let a guy get a shot in from sort of 25 yards, was hit against the crossbar. So pleased in what's gone on today. Obviously we've got to take stock of where we are, what we've got to do. But you know, for me the test will come when we start playing Stevenage's, Barnett's, and then the Watford under-24 sides.
You mentioned Rhys Williamson there, Ian. He started on the right, finished on the left. Have you got a preference?
Listen, I'm one of them, and I said to Darren Foxley, who can play there, and Bobson can play there, is you do what you want to do at the end of the day. If they're unsettling defenders and they're unsettling fullbacks, I'm quite happy for them to go and do what they want to do. If we're in a situation where we're under pressure and teams are putting us under pressure, we might have to just stay in that area and occupy space, and one stay down the right and one stay down the left. But you know, for me, it's about players wanting to express themselves, and the way we've gone about it in the second half, they've expressed themselves, they've got on the ball, they've made things happen, and I'm quite happy for them to do that, as long as when we haven't got the ball they work back into good areas and give us a good shape to us defensively, because that's going to be massively important that you know, we don't keep giving silly goals away as we did last year.
Lovely, thanks very much, Ian. Unless anything major happens in the intervening time, we'll catch up again at the end of the friendlies. But Saints are next in action this coming Tuesday, the 9th of July. We're at Watson Park, away to Ware. Kick-off is at 7:45.